Kang Dynasty had a director, had a writer. By the end of today, they no longer did. And it's looking like Marvel is moving away from Kang. Now, here's where this originally originated from. While the Kang-focused Loki finale was one of the best MCU moments in years, the idea that the Marvel Universe is continuing to march toward a broader conflict with scores of Kang variants may be in jeopardy, and plans might be about to drastically change. According to MCU expert Joanna Robinson on the House of R Ringer podcast, who cautions that this should be taken with a large amount of salt, and this is currently unverifiable. So that's also important to point out. This is unverifiable. Take it with a grain of salt. Not confirmed at all. But it goes on to say Marvel may have removed Quantumania writer Jeff Loveness from Avengers Kang Dynasty because they're reportedly moving away from Kang altogether. So this is the first thing that came out, was this whole idea that Joanna Robinson, who wrote a book, heard from an insider that they're going to move away from Kang. So, like it says here, take it with a grain of salt, not verifiable. Well, then we got another piece of information when today this came out from Deadline. Deadline hears that filmmaker Destin Daniel Cretton has decided to step away as director of Marvel Studios Avengers Kang Dynasty to focus on other Marvel projects. Stepped away. This is an amicable exit, I understand, as Cretton remains fully in Marvel Studios' family. In fact, Cretton is in talks with Marvel Studios about directing future movies. Note that Avengers Kang Dynasty is far from theatrical release schedule, dated to kick off the summer of May 1st, 2026. The movie will precede Avengers Secret Wars on May 7th, which will wrap up the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 6 features. So, that's kind of the two big bombshells that came out today. About Marvel moving away from Kang. And they came out in two separate stories, but the two separate stories, they kind of come together, don't you think? I mean, Joanna Robinson saying, I heard they're moving away from Kang Dynasty. And then all of a sudden, they're taking the writer off of Kang Dynasty. They're taking the director off of Kang Dynasty. I think they're reworking Kang Dynasty. I don't think this is going to be Avengers Kang Dynasty. And so it begs the question, is it worth pivoting away from Kang at this point? Because they have invested so much into Kang. They have invested so much into setting up this character as the next big threat, as this big multiverse saga overall threat. And I think at this point, I would say actually, while I've been enjoying a lot of the Kang variant and Kang stuff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think it's smart to move away from it. I think it's smart for a couple reasons. The multiverse is not working for the audience. The multiverse saga has had some fun moments for sure. I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home was so much fun. There was some fun moments in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Deadpool 3 looks great. But overall, the multiverse saga has come with low stakes and some very low interest from the general audience. And a lot of the multiverse saga is connected to Kang. And when you look at Kang, when you look at this character that they've set up, he's really mostly attached to a Disney Plus show. And I feel like Marvel is starting to reevaluate how they're linking the shows and the movies and playing this overall story all together, and how it's affected their viewership and has affected their audience, because not everyone's watching Loki. And not everyone's watching the stuff with Kang over there. And I feel like Kang was introduced well enough to an audience without having to watch Loki in Ant-Man Quantumania. But also, audiences didn't really respond well to Ant-Man Quantumania. Quantumania didn't do that well financially with them or with the audience. And they kind of, in retrospect, had a little bit of benefit by the fact that Kang assumably got killed off at the end of Quantumania. That Ant-Man and his team were able to defeat Kang, this variant of Kang. And then the rest of the Kang story happened on Loki. And when you watch Loki Season 1 and you watch Loki Season 2, and where the finale of Loki ends, you could end Kang right there. And you could make Kang just this character, this villain character that appears in the Loki show and affected the Loki show, but it's not too late to keep that from affecting the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you take Kang away and you pull back on this multiverse stuff, I think that is their best option. That is their best chance at getting some more audience members back and getting people on board, because this whole multiverse, this whole timeline stuff, it's just been a mess, and the audience has not been responding to it. The audience has not been liking it very much. I mean, us comic book geeks who grew up with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films and Andrew Garfield and the X-Men from Fox and all this stuff, like, yeah, when Charles Xavier shows up in Multiverse of Madness, when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in No Way Home, yeah, we geek out, we love it. The general audience loves No Way Home as well. But as far as compelling stories go for the MCU, as far as pushing things forward and moving forward, the multiverse stuff they've been doing is not doing that. So what I think they should do, and what I think they are potentially doing now that they've taken a director and a writer off of Kang Dynasty, is you scrap Kang Dynasty. You're done. You move on from Kang. Maybe you give him one last thing to wrap up, but honestly, I feel like he wrapped up in Loki just fine. And the fact that if you're watching Loki, you understand the Kang story. If you weren't watching Loki and Kang was just this random guy that showed up in the Quantum Realm when you watched Quantumania that one Saturday and you never heard from the guy again, I think that works perfectly fine as well. So scrap Kang Dynasty, make it something else, make it something different, and just rework that whole angle. And it doesn't mean that Jonathan Majors necessarily has to be completely removed from the MCU, that you never have to use Kang again. Kang can still pop up here and there maybe, but don't put an emphasis on it. Don't put a huge focus on this character. I think the Kang character is one of the things that is damaging the MCU right now, and if you just pivot away from that, I actually think that could be a smart choice. So whether or not that's actually what they're doing is yet to be seen, but I'm not going to lie, this news did not disappoint me. If anything, this news kind of gave me a breath of relief. Well, thank you very much for checking out this clip from our live show that we do every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time called Zach Milne Talks Live. If you like talking movies, if you like talking movie news, why don't you consider hitting that subscribe button before you leave? We do that on this channel all the time. But if you still need some time before you fully commit, you can check out the full video this clip is from right here, and you can check out another video over here. The subscribe button's right here.